They told you to be realistic. They told you to stay in your lane. They told you that dreams are for people with better luck, better connections, better starts in life. But here's the truth nobody told you. Being realistic is the fastest way to stay average. From the moment you were born, the world started placing limits on you. Not physical limits, mental limits. Limits disguised as advice. Limits disguised as care. Limits disguised as, I just don't want you to get hurt. But think about it. Every major breakthrough in human history came from someone who ignored the limits of their time. Someone once said humans would never fly. Someone said running a mile in under 4 minutes was impossible. Someone said a person from nothing could never build something massive. Yet here we are. Planes cross oceans. Records get broken every year. People with nothing rise every single day. So let me ask you something real. What limit are you still believing in? Is it that you're too late, too old, too broke, not talented enough, not smart enough, not connected enough? Let me be honest with you. Most limits you believe in are not real. They're inherited. You didn't create them. You absorbed them from parents who played it safe, from teachers who only saw grades, from friends who never dared to dream big, from a system that rewards conformity, not courage, and slowly, without realizing it, you accepted their ceiling as your sky. But your life is not meant to be lived under someone else's ceiling. Your life is meant to expand. Look around. The people you admire the most didn't come from perfect conditions. They came from chaos, from struggle, from failure. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Apple was started in a garage. Oprah Winfrey grew up in poverty and abuse. Elon Musk was bullied, broke, and immigrated with almost nothing. What do they all have in common? They refuse to let their starting point define their finish line. You see, most people think confidence comes first, and then action follows. But that's backwards. Action comes first. Confidence follows action. You don't wake up fearless. You become fearless by doing the thing you're scared of. You don't wake up disciplined. You build discipline by showing up when you don't feel like it. You don't wake up motivated. You create motivation by moving, even when you feel empty. And here's the part nobody likes to hear. Your feelings are not in charge of your future. Your habits are. You can wait until you feel ready. But ready is a feeling that never shows up. You become ready by starting before you feel ready. Right now, there's a version of you in the future who is begging you not to quit. That future version knows what happens when you stay consistent. That future version knows the doors that open when you stop making excuses. That future version knows how powerful you become when you finally decide to take yourself seriously. But there's also another version of you, a version that gave up, a version that settled, a version that chose comfort over growth. And that version lives with regret. So the real question is not, can you do it? The real question is, which version of you are you feeding today? Because every choice you make is a vote. Every small decision is a vote. When you wake up early, you vote for discipline. When you procrastinate, you vote for comfort. When you train your body, you vote for strength. When you scroll for hours, you vote for distraction. When you learn, you vote for growth. When you avoid the work, you vote for stagnation. Your life is nothing more than a result of the votes you cast daily. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, not when the money is right, not when people believe in you, not when conditions are perfect. Conditions are never perfect. And here's the harsh truth. If you wait for perfect conditions, you will wait forever. Success doesn't come from comfort zones. Growth doesn't happen in safe spaces. Your best version is not built in easy seasons. Your best version is built in pressure. Pressure forces focus. Pressure reveals character. Pressure exposes who you really are. When life gets hard, most people shrink. They complain. They blame. They wait for things to get easier. But the people who rise, they adapt. They learn. They evolve. They use pain as fuel. They use rejection as direction. They use failure as feedback. Every setback is a setup, if you decide to see it that way. Right now, you might feel behind in life. You might feel like everyone else is moving faster, like you missed your chance, like you wasted time. Listen carefully. You are not behind. You are just early in your process. You don't see the full picture yet. You don't see how this struggle will shape you. You don't see how these losses are building resilience. One day, you'll look back and realize this was a season that made you dangerous. Dangerous to doubt. Dangerous to fear. Dangerous to limits. Because once you realize you survived your worst days, you stop being afraid of hard days. And that's when your life changes. Not when things get easier, but when you get stronger. So today, make one decision. Just one. Decide that you're done living by other people's limits. Decide that you're done negotiating with your potential. Decide that you're done waiting for motivation to save you. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays when motivation leaves. And the people who win in life, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. They rely on habits. They rely on showing up even when nobody is watching. Your future doesn't care how you feel today. Your future cares what you do today. So stand up, even if you're tired. Take one step, even if you're scared. Start one action, even if it's messy. Because progress doesn't require perfection. It requires courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward despite it. This is where your limits end. This is where your goals begin. Collision. At some point in your life, you're going to realize something uncomfortable. Nobody is coming to save you. No mentor is going to knock on your door at the perfect time. No opportunity is going to wait until you feel confident. No miracle is going to appear just because you deserve it. The world does not reward potential. It rewards proof. You can have the best ideas in the room, the biggest dreams in your heart, the strongest vision in your mind. But if you don't move, none of it matters. Your comfort zone is the most dangerous place you can live. It feels safe. It feels familiar, but it slowly kills your ambition. Every day you stay comfortable, you train your mind to accept less. You teach yourself that it's okay to delay your dreams. You teach yourself that tomorrow is guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. That's not negativity. That's urgency. Urgency is powerful when you use it right. Urgency wakes you up. Urgency forces clarity. Urgency makes you ask the real questions. If you only had 1 year left to live, would you still be making the same excuses? If you only had 1 year left, would you still be waiting for permission? If you only had 1 year, would you still be living for approval? Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack courage. Courage to disappoint others. Courage to look foolish. Courage to start bad before starting great. Perfection is procrastination in a suit. You tell yourself you're preparing. But deep down, you're just afraid to be seen trying. Afraid to fail in public. Afraid to be judged. Afraid to not be good enough. But here's the truth. You're not judged for trying. You're judged for never starting. And even if people judge you, so what? They're not paying your bills. They're not living your life. They're not carrying your regret. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. Right now, you're paying a price either way. You're either paying the price of effort, or you're paying the price of excuses. One builds your future. The other destroys it quietly. The scariest thing is not failure. The scariest thing is waking up one day and realizing you stayed the same for 10 years. Same habits, same mindset, same excuses, different age. That's a nightmare most people don't even realize they're living. You don't need to do everything today, but you do need to do something today. One rep, one page, one call, one step. Small actions compound. You don't become disciplined overnight. You become disciplined by keeping promises to yourself. You don't become confident overnight. You become confident by proving to yourself that you do what you said you would do. Self-trust is built in private, in the moments nobody sees, in the decisions nobody applauds. That's where real character is formed. And here's something you need to hear. Stop romanticizing motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation fades when it's boring. Discipline shows up when it's boring. Motivation waits for the perfect mood. Discipline works in every mood. The people who change their lives are not the most motivated people. They're the most consistent people. Consistency is not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's boring. It's lonely. But it works. You don't see results immediately. You see them eventually. And most people quit in the eventually phase because they're addicted to immediately. They want instant validation, instant results, instant recognition. But real success is delayed gratification. It's choosing the long road. When the shortcut looks tempting, it's choosing progress. When comfort is calling your name, it's choosing growth. When quitting feels easier, you are building a life you will have to live in later. Make sure it's a life you respect. Your future self is watching your habits right now. Your future self is shaped by your actions today. Your future self is either going to thank you or resent you. You decide. There will be days you don't feel powerful, days you feel invisible, days you feel behind, days you feel tired of trying. Those days don't define you. What defines you is what you do on those days. Do you quit, or do you show up anyway? Do you numb yourself with distractions, or do you face the work? Do you choose comfort again, or do you choose growth this time? You don't need to win every day. You just need to not quit. Progress is not loud. Growth is not flashy. Transformation is quiet. It happens in routines, in repetition, in boring consistency. Most people will never see the nights you stayed disciplined, the mornings you chose effort, the times you didn't give in. But you will know. And that self-respect, that inner confidence, that's what builds unbreakable momentum. So if you're tired right now, rest, but don't quit. If you're confused, learn, but don't quit. If you're discouraged, breathe, but don't quit. Because quitting doesn't end the pain. It transfers the pain into regret. And regret is heavier to carry than effort. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave for 5 minutes. Long enough to take the next step. Then be brave for 5 more. That's how lives change. Not in giant leaps, but in small, repeated acts of courage. Today is not about becoming legendary. Today is about becoming consistent. Legends are built from consistency. And consistency starts now. Collision fire. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. Read that again. Your goals sound good in your head. Your standards decide what actually happens. If your standard is to work only when you feel good, your results will always be inconsistent. If your standard is to quit when it gets uncomfortable, your life will always be predictable. Standards are not what you talk about. Standards are what you tolerate. What are you tolerating right now? Are you tolerating excuses? Are you tolerating distractions? Are you tolerating people who drain your energy? Are you tolerating habits that sabotage your future? Because whatever you tolerate, you train. You train your mind to accept mediocrity. You train your life to settle for less. You train your identity to stay small. And here's the shift that changes everything. Your standards must rise before your life rises. You don't wait for life to improve to raise your standards. You raise your standards, and life is forced to respond. This is where most people get it wrong. They say, when things get better, I'll get serious. When I have more time, I'll work on myself. When I feel confident, I'll go all in. That day never comes. Because seriousness is not a reaction to success. Seriousness is a cause of success. High standards feel uncomfortable at first. They demand more from you. They expose your excuses. They confront your comfort. But discomfort is the entry fee to every next level of your life. You can't upgrade your future with downgraded habits. Your habits are voting on the person you are becoming. Every late night scrolling is a vote for distraction. Every early morning effort is a vote for discipline. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust with yourself. And self-trust is power. When you trust yourself, you move with confidence. You stop negotiating with your goals. You stop betraying your own potential. The strongest people in the world are not the loudest. They are the most consistent. They don't announce their moves. They don't post their grind. They don't need validation. They build quietly. They train in silence. They improve when no one is clapping. Then one day, people call it luck. Luck is the most misunderstood word in success. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. And preparation is boring work done repeatedly. You don't need a dramatic comeback story. You need daily commitment. Most breakthroughs don't look like breakthroughs. They look like another normal day where you chose effort again. No fireworks, no applause, just progress. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel ready. But you can always choose discipline. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. You can want comfort now, or you can want growth most. You can want easy now, or you can want better most. You can want distraction now, or you can want freedom most. You can't have both. Every choice is a trade, and the trades you make today decide the life you live tomorrow. Your environment is shaping you more than you think. The people you listen to, the content you consume, the conversations you tolerate, the standards of the room you sit in. If you stay in rooms that normalize laziness, your ambition will slowly die. If you stay around people who complain about life, but never change their habits, you will start to believe that complaining is progress. You don't need to abandon people, but you do need to protect your vision. Protect what you're building. Protect your momentum. Protect your standards. Not everyone needs access to your energy. Your energy is currency. Spend it on things that grow you. Growth is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things consistently. You don't need to add 10 new habits. You need to master 2 or 3. Sleep better. Move your body. Feed your mind. Work on your craft. Simple habits, done daily, create complex results over time. And here's something you might need to hear. You are allowed to outgrow who you used to be. You are allowed to change your standards. You are allowed to want more from life. You are allowed to become someone your old circle doesn't recognize anymore. Growth will cost you comfort. Growth may cost you familiarity. Growth may cost you relationships that were built on the old version of you, but staying the same will cost you your potential. Choose your cost wisely. The next level of your life will demand a version of you that is more disciplined, more focused, more intentional. You don't get that version by hoping. You build that version by raising your standards in the small things. How you wake up, how you speak to yourself, how you treat your time, how you show up when it's hard. That's where real change begins. Not in big promises, but in small, ruthless standards. You refuse to compromise. Raise your standards and watch your life rise with them. Fire. One day, you're going to look back at this version of yourself and realize this was the moment everything changed. Not because life suddenly got easier, not because opportunities magically appeared, but because you finally decided to take full responsibility for who you become. Responsibility is power. The moment you stop blaming your past, your parents, your environment, your luck, your circumstances, you take your power back. You may not control where you started, but you control where you go from here. And that control, that's freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is doing what aligns with your future, even when it's uncomfortable. Most people confuse freedom with comfort, but comfort is a cage with soft walls. It feels safe, it feels easy, but it traps your potential. Real freedom is discipline. Real freedom is structure. Real freedom is choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Every day, you're training yourself for a life. The question is, what kind of life are you training for? A life of ease, distraction, excuses? Or a life of purpose, progress, and self-respect? Because your habits don't lie. They expose your priorities. They reveal what you truly value. They show who you are becoming. You don't become powerful by waiting. You become powerful by building. Building routines, building focus, building resilience, building standards you refuse to lower. There will be moments when nobody notices your effort, when progress feels invisible, when you question if it's even worth it. Those moments are the test, not a test of your talent, a test of your commitment. Anyone can show up when results are visible. Very few show up when progress is silent. But silent progress is still progress. Roots grow in silence, before the tree ever rises above the ground. If you quit, because you can't see results yet. You are quitting right before the breakthrough. Most people stop one step too early, not because they can't go further, but because they doubt what they can't see yet. Faith in your future is believing in results before they exist, and that belief is built by action, not by affirmations, not by wishful thinking, but by proof to yourself that you can show up again, proof that you can stay consistent, proof that you can keep moving forward, even when it's hard. Every time you do the hard thing, you strengthen your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You start seeing yourself as someone who finishes. And identity is everything. You don't rise to the level of what you want. You fall to the level of who you believe you are. So start upgrading your identity. Speak to yourself with respect. Act like someone who values their future. Move like someone who doesn't quit on themselves. Your life changes when your identity changes. And your identity changes when your actions change. You don't need to prove anything to the world. You need to prove something to yourself. That you are capable of more. That you are disciplined enough to follow through. That you are strong enough to keep going when it gets uncomfortable. One day, people will ask you how you became so focused, so consistent, so unbreakable. They'll think it was talent. They'll think it was luck. But you'll know the truth. It was the days you didn't feel like showing up, and you did anyway. It was the nights you chose growth over comfort. It was the moments you stayed committed. When quitting would have been easier, those moments build a different kind of confidence. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't need approval. The kind that comes from knowing you don't betray yourself anymore. And once you reach that point, you move differently. You stop begging life for chances. You create your own momentum. You stop waiting for motivation. You move with discipline. You stop fearing failure. You fear staying the same. That's the shift. That's when no limits, only goals, stops being a quote and starts being your identity. So take this moment seriously. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, decide who you are becoming. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. Decide what standards you will live by. Then back those decisions with action. Not once, not when it's convenient, but daily, because the future you're dreaming of is built by the version of you that shows up today. No limits, only goals. Collision